Okay, we're back with our last two examples of substitution. Let's look at B. It says y equals negative x squared plus 4 and y equals negative 4x plus 8. We can see that the first equation is a quadratic and the second equation is a line, but they're both solved for y, which makes it actually pretty simple to use substitution. We can just plug one of them into the other one for y. So my first one is negative x squared plus 4 across from my y. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to put it in for y in the other one. So I'm going to have negative x squared plus 4 equals negative 4x plus 8. And now I have a quadratic equation that has an x squared term and an x term. Remember that we always want to try factoring first. So in order to factor, I want it set equal to 0. So I'm going to add x squared and subtract 4 to both sides. Okay, so these would both cancel. So I have 0 on the left. And I always have to write that. Even if there's nothing there, there's actually 0. And you have to write 0 equals. Now I have a positive x squared. So I'm going to write that first. Then I have minus 4x. And then I have 8 minus 4. That's plus 4. Okay, first of all, if you see this is a perfect square trinomial, but if you don't notice that, you could say what multiplies to positive 4 and adds to a negative 4? And that would be negative 2 times negative 2. So that's x minus 2 times x minus 2. Or if you saw it was a perfect square trinomial, you would just write that as x minus 2 quantity squared, which means that I'm only going to have one x value as a solution here. So what makes x minus 2 equal 0? That would be positive 2. So we know right now we're only going to have one point of intersection of these two graphs, and we just need to find its y-coordinate. Now you can plug 2 into either of these equations, the top one or the bottom one. I think the bottom one looks a little easier, so I'm going to do that. Y equals negative 4 times 2 plus 8. Y equals, that's negative 8 plus 8. That's 0. Y equals 0. So the point of intersection and the solution, the one solution to this system of equations is the point 2, 0. Okay. Let's move on to C. Remember that we always want to solve one equation for y. Now this one, we actually have x squared in both of them, and don't be afraid of that. We still do it the same way. I think the easier one to solve for y would be the second one, because I could just subtract x squared from both sides. That leaves me with y equals negative x squared plus 2. Okay, now I'm going to substitute that expression using parentheses in for y right there. So I write 2x squared plus 4x minus negative x squared plus 2 equals negative 2. And now I'm going to do some algebra. 2x squared plus 4x, distribute my negative, that would be plus x squared minus 2 equals negative 2. Okay, let's combine like terms on the left. I've got 2x squared and 1x squared, that's 3x squared. Then I have 4x minus 2 equals negative 2. Well, let's try to set equal to 0. That means I would add 2. Oh, that just leaves me with 3x squared plus 4x. This would be 0, and this would be 0. When I end up with a binomial that just has x squared and x, I just pull out the greatest common factor of the two of them, which means I can just take an x out of there. So it would be x times 3x plus 4 equals 0. And then this is one factor, okay? What would make just plain x equal 0? That would just be 0. But 3x plus 4, I have to subtract the 4 and divide the 3. That's negative 4/3. Now, we need to plug this into one of our equations. Let's plug it into this one that we rewrote in the beginning. This one, let me move that. This one right here. Okay, kind of running out of room. Sorry about that. I'll just write small. Okay, up here, y equals negative in parentheses. What is our x? Oh, our first one was 0. That's going to be pretty easy. Plus 2. Negative 0 squared plus 2, well, that's just going to be 2. So my first point of intersection and my first solution is 0, 2. Then y equals negative. My other x value is a negative 4/3 squared plus 2. Remember that we need to apply the power first. So that's going to be y equals negative parentheses. That's a positive 16/9 plus 2. So y equals negative times 16/9 is negative 16/9 plus 2. Let's make that 2 something over 9. 2 over 1, multiply the numerator and denominator by 9. That's going to be 18/9. I'm running out of room. So right here I have negative 16/9 plus 18/9. That gives me 2/9 because negative 16 plus 18 is 2. I'll write that really small. Okay, so what I did is I put in negative 4/3 and I got out 2/9. So my other solution is negative 4/3, comma 2/9. All right, we love fractions, and that's our last example. We'll start talking about substitution in class tomorrow. Have a great night, guys.